The Department of Energy just announced $22 million in grants going specifically to direct air capture. They also funded a bunch of point source capture stuff too, but I'm going to focus just on the direct air capture piece because I think that's the most exciting, most interesting. It reminds me so much of this DARPA challenge where, if I recall, they had these little remote control cars driving through the desert. It was called the self-driving or autonomous driving vehicle challenge. And what I heard was that the first year of this challenge, they set up all these remote control cars to drive through a desert by themselves, unassisted, and no car finished. There was no winner. But there were some that made it a little bit further than others, or there were some that did it a little bit better than others. And that's what this is to me. This Department of Energy, this experiment of $22 million in direct air capture, which is specifically for US-based companies, by the way. But that bet is really a vision for what is the future of this. And this today is V1. And V1 kind of always sucks. But if you can think about, well, today, if you look at self-driving cars, the feeling of the inevitability of it, or the close at handness, and if you're in, I think it's Arizona, where Waymo has self-driving taxis that you can hop in. The other thing that happened around the same time is Climeworks announced that their $75 million recent fundraising round has been increased to $100 million. That's in the same week as the Department of Energy announces $22 million of investments going into, actually they're not investments, I make sure to get that right, they're grants, they're funding, they're $800,000 to $2.5 million grants to fund this type of development. So on one hand, you've got a $100 million investment, you've got this $22 million grants going into direct air capture. That's a hell of a week, and it really charts a course for what's coming next. The other thing is just what a surprise this was to me. I didn't catch when the original application went through. I checked it out. It's announced in March, apparently, so not that long ago. So they were able to announce a program, get applications, vet those applications, and figure out who to fund, and they announced it this week. That's pretty fast turnaround time. Looking through these companies, what I'm so excited about is I don't even recognize most of them. Sure, there's Global Thermostat in there. They got a $2.5 million grant to fund their new research. But most of the other ones, they're around California, they're around the United States. I haven't heard of these companies before. I haven't heard of their methods before. That to me is really important because in order to pull billions of tons of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, we're going to need thousands of different types of solutions. Initially, for the last couple of years, there's been just a few companies focusing on direct air capture. And last year, I've heard about a couple more, but adding another 10 to that list is really significant. It means in another year, maybe we'll get 10 more. Maybe we'll get 100 more. The other thing is, I love V1s. I love seeing this program get announced by the US government. It's not undercover, but I didn't hear about it. It's just not well popularized, right? Versus you look at Microsoft and they trot their CEO out to talk about their commitment to $1 billion and rewinding their carbon footprint. But the Department of Energy just says yeah, cool, we're funding these grants, come and get it. I'm curious to see how that changes over the next couple of years in terms of specific programs that are named even after direct air capture or structured around direct air capture. What about a DARPA challenge for direct air capture? So we'll see. Are these companies going to take the $800,000 or the $2.5 million and be able to turn that into something? We'll see. Probably a bunch of them will fail and not figure something out. Maybe they'll share what didn't work. And then there's probably another that they'll actually make some progress with. This is what it takes to push research and development, to push engineering, to try these concepts. Again, these are V1s. It makes me think that, AirMiners is a V1. It's a first version. And I can kind of look ahead and say, here's what V10 might look like. But we don't really know. But we do know that it's on V1. We do know we're on the path to improving, to iterating, to trying other things. And, the more V1s that we have, we need thousands of V1s.